Yo, what is good? My anime faithful. What is good, yo? So, we have an interesting episode with a teacher now joining the Silver Gym and absolutely getting, you know, bullied by her students. With seeing how the students kind of, are very, very absent-minded to actual, just adults, world of like, hey, I want to do this, I want to do that, and I want to get in shape for, my own reasons. She doesn't believe that, her students or even, oops, even herself, should be allowing anybody in on this, but she is like a cosplayer and she needs to keep her body fit because supposedly the last time she was trying on something, supposedly it did not fit the way she wanted it. And this all gets kind of brought up because we see a tan line around her belly button, and with these girls already doing their deductions of other fit people and hearing that she's done like never done a sport, it kind of rung the bell in our girls' minds, and they're like, wait a minute. If she hasn't done any sports, she's got some interesting hobby, she's over here tanning, and then she's like, no, you don't have an interesting hobby. You have a boyfriend, and he's into that weird stuff. She's like, yep, you nailed it. But of course, if you then go to her and tell her that, she's kind of old, or she has, she should have a lot more muscles because she's more developed because she's older and stuff like that, that's something you should always keep to yourself. And we saw that a couple times with the faces that she can make in this week's episode, looking like she would absolutely take a Grim Reaper scythe and cut you in half just because you say something. Which makes sense because she cosplays seemingly younger characters, right? Like she doesn't want to be um, she doesn't want to be seen as the adult teacher. She wants to be seen as Miss Super Sunshine, cosplay girl, So it's pretty funny to see how these like weird situations just come about and where they're going to actually play out in the end. Because you could, if you told me that she was going to be a cosplayer, and then not only that, we were going to go to a cosplay convention on accident and run into her, you would be a genius. Like, you would be the ultimate genius, and I wouldn't ever question you again. um, but with that being said, it just felt really weird that that was what was popping off in this week's episode. Not only that the fact that we saw someone else pretty much fall for the same hook, line, and sinker joke when it came down to seeing Mr. Prince Charming, but then finding out that Prince Charming is absolutely yoked out of his mind under a shirt that probably shouldn't be able to hold up too well while while he's in that form, like somehow he's capable of not flexing a single bit, and that's the reason why he can um, bust in and out of his shirt. I'm not sure, but whatever the case may be, this man is ridiculously yoked, and even the teacher's like, "Oh, I think I found my Prince Charming, so this is good." And no, no, you didn't. You did not. And he is way too buff for you. So the best part is seeing this guy then show up and actually be a cosplaying himself, and just absolutely steals all the attention. He literally, all these guys who are here enjoying this girl, all of a sudden just straight up, uh, they just all straight up start taking pictures of this dude. They're like, "Oh my God, do that pose, please, please do that pose." And he's like, "You mean this pose?" Like, he's literally dressed up as Fist of the North Star, and they're calling him like Muscle Man or something like that. Just pretty much, just saying, "Oh yeah, that guy's really really buff, and he wore that outfit." That's all. That's all he was. Fist of the North Star was super buff man. So I thought it was pretty funny to see them referencing like that's the thing with like Food War that really got me, and where they went with like their animation and then their references, right? Like they knew really, really good animators to reference. Even if some of them were obscure at times, it was more like some of them were mangas or some of them were even more old school than like some of the people that are actually watching the show. So there was a lot of mixture in with there, and I can see that happening with this show and how beautiful the animation can be at times and how dark it almost looks like this could be one of the ultimate fighting animes at times when I watch it. So just by some of the character designs they just randomly put on their characters, which have me dead at times. So I think this show is really getting a decent reception from people who just want to watch it and laugh and chill back. But if you were actually trying to watch this show and take it serious and look at a perspective of like, okay, if they're working on push-ups and sit-ups today, that means hypothetically speaking, they should be working on calves and like if you're looking that deep into it or trying to find something really, really deep in it, you're probably missing the reasoning, like sure this episode was probably the most jam-packed like exercise like tips I feel like, but at the same time it was just giving us the information for every time they start doing an exercise, oops, what you should just practically do in general and like the form and all that stuff. So imagine watching Goku perform the Kamehameha and he's doing all those forms and like techniques before he does it, and you're just kind of sitting there like, why does he have to do all this build up just to get to point B to shoot the Kamehameha, right? Um, that's kind of what it feels like. They're just elaborating on what they're doing and why they're doing it with such, um, they're doing it in a certain way every time. Like they're doing it with a form, then they're teaching other people to do that form almost as if you should not be doing it without that form. So that's where this show kind of shines in the stance of like they are teaching people, which I mean, I guess that's a big like turnoff for some people who actually work out and just want to watch a show that isn't about something they already do in their daily life. I don't know how that remotes to you not enjoying a show that's a comedy about working out and stuff. That's beyond me. That's not my that's not my position to guess what other people are feeling and why they feel that way. But if you enjoy it, you enjoy it. If you don't, you don't. And that's why I like to do reviews on stuff that just make me laugh at times. And right now, I have some of the most darkest shows always on my channel. And to have something like lighten the mood a little bit for me to react to it, and people actually are enjoying the reaction, they're actually watching the video and dropping likes, which really just shows me that they actually want to see more. So that's what I'll do, and it's fun for me and relaxing, so I have no problem with this. But with all that being said, I hope you guys have an amazing day, night, evening, because the teacher's not having the best night. Like she after what she just dealt with, she's going through a rough one. So let's hope that it gets better for her and that not only that she can be smart enough to leave that gym, because at this point, if she stays for her quote unquote Prince Charming, she's gonna be seeing them students every day probably because they're on the same schedule. Like soon as school goes out, she can be out there. Mind you, this was a free trial, and as soon as she saw the guy, she's like, "Well, sign me up. You talked me into it. I don't even need the free trial. Here's my money." So yeah, that's definitely some of the comedy I'm looking forward to, lighten my mood on some of the days where I'm just not feeling, seeing someone get their whole family get eradicated for a character to get stronger or something like that. So um, it's a nice little relaxing day for me to watch this, and I appreciate everybody that's watching it with me. And comment down below what you guys think is your funniest moments, or just anything really you want to talk about the episode, or other animes that it might remind you of, like the animation style, or if there's a reference I missed. Definitely let me know if there's like references. I love seeing references and like just finding the clips of the reference and seeing how like close it was at least or something along those lines. So it's always fun for me. So I hope you guys have an amazing day, night, evening. I am your anime G, and I will definitely talk to you guys later. And make sure to check the description for pictures on all of the videos that I've dropped thus far. If you do want to see just images from this week's. So peace.